Hey, what's going on, guys? Like Butter here, and today I am bringing you a division video because I want to get you guys up to date about 1.7. A lot of news came out today about 1.7 on State of the Game. Honestly, in my opinion, today's State of the Game was the best it has been in months. Hamish had Terry and Keith from Red Storm in North Carolina to talk about 1.7 and some of the new things that are going to be coming out with 1.7, as well as some changes of existing content that's already in the game. And I want to go over those things with you guys, give you guys my opinions, and kind of just talk about it and explain it. So if you happen to miss State of the Game or you want to see my point of view about these things, that's exactly what this video is for. So I have this notepad of all the things that were gone over in State of the Game that I thought was very, very interesting. And the first thing and the big thing about the announcement today was that there are going to be classified gear sets coming in 1.7. Now, how they're going to roll out these classified gear sets are in waves. There's going to be a wave of 3 different gear sets that are going to be out during global events. So global events, I made a video about this last week, or I think it was either last week or the week before. What global events are going to be are these 1 week long events where they, add multipliers and have like certain, global event currency that you can gain while you do it. Basically, it's just an event that lasts a week long that's going to allow people to play the game in different ways. And these global events are going to give you these drops. So maybe say, for example, like, you're getting awards during these global events. Well, 3 of the gear sets are going to be released during that global event, and then after the global event is over, they will drop in the open world. So essentially, think about it like this. The global events are the first place to get these pieces, and the only place to get these pieces through, completing commendations or certain tasks. They haven't really gone into detail about that. And then after that, after the global event is over, there will be those drops of, I'm assuming, a very small chance. Now, if you might be a little bit confused on what classified gear sets are, basically classified gear sets are versions of the gear sets that we already own, but a better version of them. Now, a lot of people wanted to know, what were they going to be, grinding for? What were they going to try to be going for in 1.7? And these classified gear sets are going to be your goal for making your builds a little bit better. So how it's going to work is classified gear sets are going to start at the highest min-max range that you can have on a 256 gear piece. So this doesn't mean that there is a gear score increase. However, these classified gear sets are going to have better stats than the gear that you have now. Not only that, you're going to be able to roll 2 attributes on classified gear sets since they're going to be super rare. So no, if they're like wicked rare, like you only get them maybe like once a day or once every couple of days, they didn't want you to just get this really garbage piece and then be like, oh well, I'm not going to use that anyways. Maybe it's got like damage to elites on it or whatever. Well, now you're going to be able to roll 2 attributes. So maybe if you want, like, instead of stamina, you want firearms. Instead of electronics, you want firearms, that kind of thing. You're going to be able to roll one of those, and then you can roll a minor or a major stat. So it gives you a higher chance of being able to customize that classified gear set to fit in with your build. And not only that, they're going to be adding a 5 and 6 piece bonus to these classified gear sets. Now, in order to make the 5 and 6 piece bonus work, you need to have entirely classified gear sets. So this is going to give people a lot of things to grind for. The first global event that's going to be going on in 1.7 is going to release these 3 gear sets: Deadeye, Final Measure, and Lone Star. The second global event, which will be a month after 1.7 is released, will be Sentries, Striker, and Reclaimer. They talked a little bit about what the 5 and 6 piece bonuses are going to be for those sets, but essentially how it's going to work is the 5 piece bonuses are going to enhance the 2 and 3 piece bonuses in your set, and the 6 piece bonus is going to give you like maybe a different way or an alternate way to use that set, or to kind of make that set feel different. So the example that they use was final measure. So for final measure, you guys most likely know how it goes. The 2-piece is exotic damage resilience. The 3-piece is protection from elites. So what that 5-piece bonus is going to do is enhance those numbers. So it will give you a little bit more EDR, and it will also give you a little more protection from elites. The 6-piece bonus, however, is going to make it so that when you defuse a grenade, depending on the type of grenade that you defuse, it's going to buff your team in various ways. I think the example they used was if it's a frag grenade, it's going to give your team, you know, I don't know. Let's just use an example. I forgot the exact examples that they used, but I think it was frag grenade gives your team weapon damage, a fire grenade gives your team armor, that kind of thing. I don't know the specifics. I think it's different actually. But essentially how it works is each different type of grenade is going to buff your team in a different way. So I think that's going to be really awesome. And they also talked about fixing the bug with Final Measure where you can accidentally defuse your own team's grenades. That's not going to happen anymore. That's fixed. So Final Measure is going to be a build. I already thought it was a really strong build, but it is going to be a must-have in all teams, especially if you're going to be playing PvP. Final Measure is just so strong because grenades are so good, especially with people using short bow knee pads. It can be pretty devastating when someone throws a shock grenade and shocks your entire team, or throws a frag grenade and you know, knocks you out of, you know, whatever you were doing. So that's really cool. I'm really excited for that. And they also talked about some changes to Deadeye as well. We'll go into a couple of the sets and examples that they use for some of the other gear sets, but I do want to talk about the Deadeye changes. The 4-piece Deadeye change is going to be that you still get the 100% crit chance when you're in cover, but when you're out of cover shooting your gun and using your scope, you're only going to get the 60% chance that is maxed for everything else. Now, I think this is a pretty good change considering they're also talking about the SVD getting nerfed as well to align with the M1A. And as most of you guys know, the M1A is pretty weak right now. So I'm hoping what they do is they just very small buff to the M1A and then bring down the SVD to kind of be around that, because I think currently the M1A is just way too weak. So that would be pretty cool to see, like, the M1A class get a little bit of a bump and the SVD class get a little bit of, you know, I don't know if they're going to nerf the accuracy or the damage or what they're going to do, but I'm assuming it's the handling that they're going to change. Maybe less horizontal stability or less accuracy, because the SVD is insane. It's almost like balanced was back when the M1A was super broken, and when you had balance on it, you could just spam it and it would stay completely accurate, and it was more of like a semi-automatic rifle rather than a sniper. So that change is going to definitely make Deadeye be harder to be abused, I guess, in a sense, because people are going to have to be stationary to output that amount of damage that they were putting before. And also the SVD changes is going to make the set even harder to kind of be that spammy, you know, put you down in 2 to 3 shots type of gear set. So those changes are going to be tested on the PTS, which I'm pretty excited for. I'm not a huge fan of Deadeye. To see it reworked in any way, shape, or form is okay with me. They also talked about Lone Star, which we'll talk about the bonus. The bonus to Lone Star, the 6-piece, is going to be when you change weapons. So the 4-piece bonus is if you switch weapons, it automatically refills your mag in your second weapon, and then if you switch back, it refills the mag. Well, they said that there's going to be a chance when you switch to get like a damage and an RPM buff. So there's like a lot of cool things coming that are going to give people a lot of different ways to build their favorite gear sets. So we're not getting new gear sets in this patch or a gear score increase, but there is going to be new gear for you guys to go for and to shoot for. The last one is Deadeye, which they haven't talked about. All they talked about was the 4-piece bonus getting reworked. They didn't say anything about the 5 and 6-piece. I'm assuming the 5-piece is going to increase the damage, so that's going to be kind of iffy there. We'll have to see how it plays out. But another thing that they talked about is that these drops, these classified gear set drops, aren't going to have a different color, but they are going to have like a different noise when it drops. And I hope they put some sort of like maybe like a glow, like a golden glow around the green. almost like particles kind of just floating down the green, so that when you get a classified drop, you really know that you got a classified drop, to make it as obvious as possible. So they are going to stay green, but they're going to have their own bit of sexy flavor to them, so you will know without a doubt when the gear set that you got was classified. They weren't comfortable enough talking about strikers because it was in the process of getting changed, because it was a little too strong. So strikers is going to be getting changed, but how they have Reclaimer 6-piece right now is that when somebody blows up your support station, you can place another one down immediately. And also they talked about the Sentry 6-piece, how you're going to be able to stack over 3, you're going to be able to stack up to 6, but this will only work in PvE. And those stacks are going to be able to be spread to other enemies around the vicinity as well. So they said that this was going to be more of a PvE set. So if you still wanted to use Sentry in PvP, you could. It's just the 6-piece bonus wouldn't be what you would go for. You would just go for the 4-piece bonus and then 2-piece of something else or whatnot. Which leads me to the next thing that I want to talk about, and that is the Ninja Bike Messenger Bag, which, as most of you guys know, has been such a useless exotic. And as an exotic gear piece, you would think that it would be useful in some way, shape, or form, but the way that they had it just is not useful anymore. So they're having a huge change to the Ninja Bike backpack, and I really hope you guys held on to those backpacks, because I've been telling people for, you know, months on my stream to hold on to the backpack, because whenever these things need changing, we end up getting something that's super cool, and that's exactly what we're getting. We're getting a talent on the Ninja Bike backpack called Wildcard. What the Wildcard bonus will do, it'll allow you to fulfill any gear sets that you have. So for example, if you have 3-piece of one gear set and you have 2-piece of another gear set, so let's say 3-piece, I don't know, Predator, 2-piece Striker, something like that, right? Well, if you're running it with the Ninja Bike backpack, it will actually fulfill both of those sets. So instead of having 3-piece, you will have 4-piece, and instead of having the 2-piece, you'll have 3-piece. So I think a good one that I'm going to try running will be 3-piece Alpha Bridge and 2-piece Tacticians. So the 3-piece Alpha Bridge with the Ninja Bike backpack will give me the 4-piece Alpha Bridge bonus, and it will also give me 3-piece Tacticians, so I can get that skill haste. So I think there's going to be like really cool hybrid builds and a lot of different theory crafting ideas that are actually going to be put into play, which I'm super excited for. Now, some people might be like, oh, that's going to be OP or this and that. I honestly think that it will make the mismatch or the mix and match sets be more fun to use, and it will kind of spike more ideas, and I'm all for that. Obviously it's going to be tested on the PTS, and if it's completely broken out of control, they'll probably come up with something new. I really don't think it will be, though. I think it'll be very cool, because if you got to think about it like this, like if you're matching gear sets with an exotic, that means that you're not using short bow knee pads, you're not using vigorous chest piece. It's getting people to build other things, which I think is good. So I definitely think that the Ninja Bike is going to be pretty cool. They also talked about seeker changes. The airburst seekers are getting nerfed into the ground because they finally, you know, tested it out, said that the seekers weren't in a great place, and they hear that and they understand it. They just didn't want to drastically just nerf it. But there's going to be a 60% damage reduction on the airburst seeker mines, but they are also going to probably be buffing the area of effect, I would assume. So maybe like the fire damage will do more or something, or maybe the AoE will be bigger. I'm not sure the ways that they're going to change it, but it is getting a drastic damage reduction of the initial airburst. So that's pretty good for you guys that are super annoyed with seeker mines. I never really thought seeker mines were a problem, but apparently on console they were super annoying to play against, and they understand that, and that's something that they're going to be changing. Anyways, that's most of the things that were talked about today in State of the Game. If you guys have any questions, be sure to drop a comment in the comment section below. I'm sure somebody will be there to answer you if I'm not. But I want to thank you guys for watching this video. If you enjoyed, be sure to drop the video a like, and let me know in the comment section below what you think of the new classified gear sets. I think it's going to be pretty cool. It's going to give us stuff to go for, and I think that 1.7 is a little light on content. but I think it will give existing players like myself and somebody who's enjoyed the game for such a long time new ways to play the game until that juicy 1.8 content drop that we're going to be getting later this year. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys, and I will talk to you in the next one. Take care, everybody.